General Hospital, GH. Spoilers recap for Monday, July 12th. Reveals that Jason Morgan, Steve Burton, witnessed Britt Westbourne's, Kelly Thiebaud, private heartbreak while Carly Corinthus, Laura Wright, and Austin, Roger Howarth, had a suspicious run-in. Here's how it all played out on Monday's fantastic episode. For starters, Maxie Jones, Kirsten Storms, was an emotional wreck at the Quartermaine mansion. Maxie worried Austin would put everything together now that he was working at GH and sticking around town, but Brooklyn Quartermaine, Amanda Seton, dismissed that possibility. Brooklyn thought Maxie was the biggest threat to their secret and warned her to stop coming to the mansion since she was raising red flags. Brooklyn also thought it was best for Maxie to call the baby Bailey instead of Louise, even in private, since Maxie had already slipped up in front of Valentine Cassadine, James Patrick Stewart, once. Maxie remained upset over staying away from her daughter, so Brooklyn wondered if she wanted to just call the whole thing off and take her baby back. However, Maxie knew they had to stick to the plan and protect Bailey from Peter August, Wes Ramsey. That said, Maxie thought maybe she should leave Port Charles since this was so hard. Outside GH, Curtis Ashford, Donald Turner, talked to Portia Robinson, Brooke Kerr, about Stella Henry, Vernie Watson, interfering in their potential romance. Portia thought Stella was right and worried she could lose Curtis as a friend, but he thought her fear was shutting her off to something good. Curtis pushed Portia to think about it once she was called back inside to deal with a patient. After Austin, Roger Howarth, spoke to nurse Amy Driscoll, Risa Dorkin, at the nurse's station, he blew into Alexis Davis, Nancy Lee Gran, exam room and revealed he was on staff now. Sam McCall, Kelly Monaco, was there with Alexis, who noticed the weird interaction between Austin and her daughter. Sam and Dante Falconeri, Dominic Zamprogna, filled Alexis in on how they knew Austin from the Louise case. Portia showed up to check out Alexis' injured wrist, so Dante and Sam stepped out to discuss the 4th of July debacle. There was a kiss flashback, but Sam suggested forgetting that night happened, and Dante suggested he was on the same page despite not seeming like he meant it. In the hallway, Jason confronted Carly about what she said to Britt. Carly argued that she had to make sure Britt wasn't holding out hope and added that hope was cruel. Carly said Britt needed to mourn the relationship she thought she might have had with Jason. Jason insisted he already told Britt where they stood, so he didn't think Carly needed to tell her again. Carly reiterated that Britt didn't need to hold out hope that she'd get back together with Jason. Carly then seemed worried Jason was holding out for the same thing, but he reassured Carly about their impending marriage. Jason also warned Carly to leave Britt alone. In Britt's office, she talked to Jasper Jax, Ingo Rademacher, about the fun they had the other night. Jax and Britt both seemed keen to just leave it at fun, but Jax was sorry about Britt getting hurt by Jason. Jax pointed out that Carly doubled down on the mob after Sonny Corinthus, Maurice Bernard, presumed death and felt his ex was always drawn to danger. Lisa Lobrecht, Kathleen Gotti, found Jax with Britt just before he left, so she suggested she didn't know they were such intimate friends. Britt didn't want to get into the details, so Lobrecht shifted gears and offered an apology. She hated that she encouraged Britt to follow her heart, only so Jason could stomp all over it. Liesl acknowledged that Britt must have slept with Jax and thought it was a no-brainer that Jax would be attracted to her. Britt recalled how she made love to Jason after she found out she had the Huntington's marker and assumed he'd done it out of pity. Next, Jason ran into Jax and offered a warning. He didn't want Jax to hurt Britt, but Jax countered that he wasn't the one doing that. Afterward, Jason approached Britt's office and found her quite literally crying on Liesl's shoulder. Jason stepped out of sight, but he looked distraught as Britt talked about how much her heart hurt. Back with Carly, she gave Austin directions after he asked her about the Michael Corinthus, Chad Jewell, wing. Austin tried to play it like he didn't know much about Port Charles and the people there, but it became more and more obvious that he knew a lot. Carly called him out as the conversation grew somewhat tense, so Austin admitted to doing his research before taking the job. At the PCPD, Jordan Ashford, Brianna Nicole Henry, talked to Sean Butler, Sean Blakemore, and TJ Ashford, Taj Bello, about Judge Carson, and Eva Finley. It was established that Sean and Alexis would be held in lockup there at the station so they'd remain safe. Sean was hopeful about finding out who really shot Hayden Barnes, Rebecca Buddick, but he knew he had to take things one step at a time. Curtis also met with Jordan in her office to discuss finding out Stella was behind the divorce meddling. Curtis was sorry for thinking Jordan would do something like that. Jordan and Curtis suggested that they only wanted each other's happiness, so Jordan agreed to send the signed divorce papers, and Curtis was a lot more understanding about it happening whenever. General Hospital spoilers say Curtis will kick his pursuit of Portia up a notch in the coming episodes, so stay tuned. CDL will have other terrific General Hospital spoilers, news and updates, so make us your go-to source. Adblock Test, why?